It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
The number one reason, Steve, you make my top 10, the second best presidential slogan ever. Okay, I like Ike.
Yeah, that's good.
Only behind Tippecanoe and Tyler, too.
That is a good one.
That's a great
What did
one.
that mean again?
But most importantly, he established the highways.
Tippecanoe was like a town or something.
Yeah, so Tyler was the candidate.
Something? I don't care.
And Kyle.
Do only terrorists hate cake? That's Steve.
I love cake.
Remember, he said last week, everybody remembers very fondly Steve saying,
I love cake.
I hate cake and I'm a terrorist.
Hate cake, love terrorism. This guy, Steve, that's me.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Thank you, Melissa. Oh, boy. I really came in hot there, didn't I?
Yeah. Boy, we've had to the shock of nobody. Technical difficulties this morning.
Aplenty.
I think we officially send that invoice for the work order to your cohort feces-slinging monkeys for, forcing you. You wanted to come back to the studio. Forcing you to work from home.
Yeah, I was really chomping at the bit to get back into the COVID factory.
How are they all feeling? Are they all better?
They appear to be
Based on what you've heard from
functioning.
home?
Yeah, from what I've been working from home for the last couple of days.
Don't get used to it. You get comfortable.
I know. Because I'm still in I'm in the honeymoon phase where I'm like, This is great. I wake up like 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
I don't shower.
Right.
I brush my teeth, come downstairs, connect my little microphone. I put on my "I've been awake for hours" voice.
Yeah.
And say, "Hey guys, just checking in, making sure everything's, making sure the T's are crossed, I's are dotted."
I've been back here making deals and spinning wheels, and
I say to them like, "How's my audio codec sounding? Good? You need me to phaser out the monoliths?
Can you go get engineer Mike in here a second so I can? I just want to double, triple check a couple things with him before we hit the national airwaves."
And then they say, "Yeah, it's sounding good on this end." And I say, "Okay, cool." And then I mute my mic and I go, "All right, I'm gonna go upstairs and make a cup of tea." Go upstairs, make my tea, and I bring it back down here, and I don't know, maybe walk around the house a bit, just kind of get the blood pumping a little bit, and then I come back downstairs. I do my thing, do my normal show prep type stuff leading up to the beginning of the show, and it's been great so far. It's been awesome.
It's nice, right?
Like during a commercial break, and go upstairs and say good morning to my daughter.
Yeah.
Be with her while she's eating breakfast for a couple minutes.
You don't have to worry about making sure, that the imbeciles in the big room can read properly.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, live read. What this paper?
Yeah, I got to hold cue cards for everything they say.
You're flashing lights to get their attention. Here, you don't have to worry about that.
I got to print papers for some of them because some of them can't figure out print. Some of these are very true. Very true.
It just reminds me of, again, the only radio show worth listening to, the Dan Le Batard show. How they also trouble reading. Apparently, that's a indicator of success. If your talent has trouble reading in 2021.
Right. Well, I mean, the year doesn't matter. It's the age of the person that matters.
That's true.
Because it's 2021. My daughter can't read. She's also a year and a half old.
That's fair. That's fair. I guess
now if it were 2041 and she still couldn't read, or 2071,
she'd be a national radio host.
Yeah. So good news for mom and dad.
Oh, if you think radio is going to be around in 2041, let alone 2071. I think you're insane. I think
it'll still be around in some form. It's just a matter of what what that form is. I mean,
Sure.
and I think that like what we're doing right now, this podcast, or be it a spoken word type radio show, that'll still be around. It's just it's obviously going to have to evolve a bit with the times, because people are always going to want to hear opinionated content, or like political talk. That's not going away,
Right. But it's more
sports
it'll be more
talk
on demand, though.
Yeah,
It won't-
sports talk.
Sure.
That's not going away.
Right.
Things like that. What we do right here, what we do on the side gig, that's still going to be around. But yeah, it may not be so much in a broadcast form as it is in a narrowcast or podcast.
Right. We'll kick off the polls this week. Will radio be around in 2041?
Yeah, I say yes.
I don't mean
I
to
say
put
yes.
a damper on your livelihood.
No, 2041. I hope to. Let's see. That's 20 years from now. I'll be 60.
Okay.
I hope to be nearing the end
You don't
of
think
my
you'll
career,
be-
not my life.
You don't think
preferably.
you'll be firing off sound bits from the guy who was sad about the library being demolished yet?
Well, that will never die.
But if you think if you're in 2061 and you get the cue to push that button, a little bit of you dies every time you push that button, right?
It's going to be was it the movie Demolition Man with Sly Stallone
And Wesley Snipes.
and Snipes
Sure.
and Sandra Bullock, right?
Yeah, a classic. Sandra Bullock's first role.
Where they were driving around in their car, and the radio station that they were listening to was just old jingles from old products, like Beanie Weenies or something.
Yeah.
Is it going to be that? There's going to be a radio station of just all the old classic drops that we used to play on the side.
Right.
Gig, like, I can't believe they're going to close this damn place down. I'm a carpenter.
So 20 years from now, you'll be sniffing 60.
Yeah. Oh,
You're-
man. Looking right at 60.
Everybody else you work with is going to be dead.
Definitely.
You think we should start getting our sizzle reel together?
So we can replace them.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, at that point,
I
we're gonna
think-
have 25 years of podcast experience.
Yeah. I think
Do you think we'll be able to formulate a radio show? Do you think that we'll be able to sit in a studio and throw together a show on a daily basis?
See, I think
because
and
at age 60
Oh, well,
and
right.
50, what will you be?
I'll
Roughly
be
55, 54, whatever. That's the perfect time to branch out and start something new.
Yeah, are they going to give us, a prorated 401k? Say, hey, you guys, because you're joining this so late.
A quarter of a century of experience here.
I don't mean to demean what it is, because listen, I did a little bit in radio with you guys, and I'm aware. I think doing what we do, transferring to a radio show would almost be easier. Outside of having to shorten up what we talk about, right? Because you have to worry about the ads, you have to worry about whatever.
Yeah.
But the idea of filling content and filling time seems like once you're doing it long form, it's easier to crunch that down than it would be to have to stretch it out.
Yeah, I guess I don't know because I can see it from both sides. It all depends on what your strong suit is.
Right.
Are you able to be concise, shorten things up?
And for me, that's hard.
Or do you excel at talking at length? It's
Right.
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
That'll be on the
not
poll.
sure.
What is easier, podcast or a radio show? And I'm assuming, because we weren't just talking about that demeaningly, but I'm assuming somebody from your radio show will see that and be like, hey, are they insulting
First
our
of all,
craft again?
First
No.
of all, you're wrong
Yeah,
because
I see that.
none of them follow us in any way.
You sure?
Pretty confident.
I'm pretty sure too.
I'm very sure.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Yeah. I
If
don't
they
know.
did, I'm sure that.
I don't follow what they do in their spare time.
I mean, I don't follow the social media for that garbage. No offense.
Full offense taken.
Oh, no. The rules are, if at any point I say no offense before you have declared offense, you can then not be offended.
So if it had gone like this, now say the insulting line again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't follow any of their social media for that garbage.
Offense taken.
That would have qualified.
That I can take offense
Yes.
to that. Okay. But if it had gone like,
I don't follow any of that. I don't follow any social media for that garbage. No offense.
offense taken. Oh,
I win.
Yeah, too late. It's like rock, paper, scissors. You got to throw it at the right time.
You say no offense before.
Well, the polls are heating up today already.
Well, the problem is we didn't do any last week, and I hate those weeks.
Yeah.
Because I like to watch the results flow in. I like to see people dismayed at how this could possibly be a conversation piece.
Yeah.
It works beautifully. I love to see the outrage or the shock at what is happening. I don't know. I feel like it would be now. Granted, you're time constrained. Like you and I could say, "Hey, let's record this day, or this day," because it is what it is. But also, I mean, a radio show's 5 days a week, presumably.
Are we doing talk show, or are we hits and bits, like playing 12 an hour?
I mean,
and
listen,
because look, I love Eddie Money,
yeah,
and I could play it every day, and that would be, I honestly think that might be the easiest job in radio, and that's playing 12 songs an hour, and then injecting a little personality in that 9 seconds in between the songs.
Oh, it's the worst radio. It's the worst form of media, I think, is that, where they feel like they have to figure out a transition between Katy Perry's Firework and Taylor Swift whatever.
The worst is when I hear it and they don't even transition. You'll hear one song end. You'll hear DJ come on and say, a recent study says, and as they're saying that, you hear the next song start. A recent study says that chameleons shed their skin 14 times a year. Do you believe that? Here's Taylor Swift.
Speaking of chameleon, talk about, from country music to pop music, here's Taylor Swift.
Every time I hear that, where they don't relate it at all, and there's nothing else given, I always feel so blue-balled. I'm just like, you just threw out the most random line.
Yeah.
You may as well have turned on the mic and said, turtles are green and sometimes brown. Here's Taylor Swift.
Right.
Like, it doesn't... You're just telling me you're saying words.
Right.
You're reading a headline.
And I get it, but you don't need... The weird filler is so unnecessary. The only one that would really make sense is, hey, so-and-so's coming to town.
Yeah.
In March. Get your tickets at our radio station website, which, by the way, those are... Hey, I'm looking for tickets to go see so-and-so.
I'm not going to the
radio station website.
I think there's a lot of things wrong with the radio industry. There's plenty of stuff wrong with the radio industry.
Sure.
Plenty of stuff wrong with every industry, but being as that this is the one that I work in, that's the most prominent to me. And it's always... I always find it really weird when they try to be that, like, that personality, but you don't get to know them at all because they're just saying things that they found on a prep site.
Right.
And I respect the radio stations more that are the ones that are truly, we're all about the music, and in between every song it's like, oh, that was the new one from so-and-so, and they, like you said, they're going to be in town this Thursday, and you can check out tickets and get them on our website, and here's another one. Like, I don't really listen to those stations much because I'm not a music guy. Right. I'm not like, and sometimes those stations, like there's one in town now that it is insufferable for me because they're the ones that, we're the sophisticated music station for the... Like,
the indie music one.
Yeah,
right?
They're not going to play the song. Like, they may play Mumford & Sons.
Sure.
But it's going to be the Mumford & Sons that you've never heard of.
If they're playing the B-sides.
It's off of, like, the Japanese import cassette that you could only get at the flea market.
Right here we got Nirvana, not the one you're thinking of. We've got this unrecorded performance from the unplugged broadcast on MTV in 1994.
Kurt Cobain wasn't even in the band yet. This is the one from their old lead singer, Frank Fart.
Yeah, and they try to position themselves as, like you said, the uppity Jack FM, which you guys have joked about forever on the radio show on your side gig about, the doesn't matter. Plug in at that point, when I was there, it was plug in your iPod, and that's what we're playing. Play anything we want.
Hey, that's a good idea. I will just do that.
Yeah, thanks. Off, and then play your own music. And I don't see how playing the hits and bits is anything above Like allowing Evelyn in front of the microphone.
Granted,
It's talentless.
Look, to any
It's
to any
talentless.
programmers out there, I would die to play the hits and bits.
Oh my God! Please.
12. You want 12 songs an hour? How about this? I'll give you 13.
So
You
12?
shove another one in there. I'll do weather on the 2s. I'll do traffic on the 3s. I will give you the celebrity sleaze from Hollyweird.
Obviously.
Who would do that on our show, on the Steve and Kyle radio show?
Yeah.
Who would be reporting live from Hollyweird? I feel like it's got to be you.
I feel like it'd be me because I need you to hit the slide whistle.
And I'm good at that.
when there's like bad news, Steve, over here on Ventura Boulevard, Brad Pitt and the girlfriend broke up.
But don't worry, he's on the rebound.
So let's do the math here about how much work we actually have to do.
Okay, so we need to locate, procure, and load a slide whistle into our system.
Yep. I hope the station's comfortable. Or, if we want to bring some real authenticism, we expense an actual slide whistle.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking we go like...
So you're sitting in front of the mic with the actual slide whistle.
Okay, I like that better.
Yeah.
I like that because then I pick up a second, a talent.
Yeah. Or if we're reporting on a celebrity death, I'll have an actual trombone. Womp, womp.
Or we get a band in studio to play a funeral dirge.
So let's be generous and say 12 songs an hour, 3 minutes a song. I think it's probably on the lighter end of average song. Let's say 3.5.
Well, it's going to depend on the format. If we're on a classic rocker, no, the songs are a little bit longer. But if we're on a top 40 or hot AC, songs are typically going to be in the 3 to 3.5 minute range.
I want to play the hits. I want to cater to those 18 to 29-year-olds.
And
that's
because
our
it's gonna stay fresh.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to every single new song that gets added. We're gonna say, can you give me the phonetic pronunciation of this artist's name because I've never heard of Grumward.
Yep. And then you realize that it's been Grumenwald, and then you're getting hate mail.
Right. Yeah, I just inadvertently swore in 6 different languages.
You didn't realize you just said a Norwegian Viking swear word. Right. And so now you're part of there's people picketing out front of the station.
Yeah, they all have Viking helmets on.
We have to suspend you. So we got, let's call it 40 minutes an hour just based on music.
40 minutes an hour of music.
How much ads?
You're probably going to have, I would say on the low end, you're going to have 10.
Okay, let's call it, there's 50
Well,
minutes.
it depends. Are we number 1 in the demo yet? Because if we are, then those ads are going to be sold out.
No,
we're going to be playing 15 minutes an hour.
We're doing it like you play your video games. Now, Steve, when you start out, whether it be football, whatever, a video game, you want to start, if you take over a team, there's no fun in taking over, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No. You want to start at the bottom.
Start at the bottom. So you and I, we're going to go to the building where it's like they don't even have wheels on their chairs, or they do, but one of them's missing on every chair.
Right.
The only fan is me standing at the door, whipping it back and forth to try to get air moving.
Okay.
And we have to bring our own computer. So we're at the bottom of the barrel, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the music we're playing is off of our Apple Music.
Okay.
Plugged in.
So they don't even have the music at the radio station.
We're fingers crossed, not getting sued by like Columbia Records or whoever. That's the hope.
Okay. So we got 40 minutes of music. So basically, we're building our show clock right now. So we got 40 minutes of music. We got let's say conservatively 10 minutes of commercials.
Yeah.
We got in between all of that music, there's the zippy zappy lasers and station promos for War of the Roses, of course.
Call another 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Yep. So we're at 52 minutes roughly.
Giving us
8 minutes per hour.
8 minutes, but not just 8 minutes. 8 minutes to shine.
8 minutes
but
to
not
spread our wings.
And also, not 8 consecutive minutes.
No.
Those 8 minutes are going to be in 2 minutes. Let's call them 2 minute bursts.
2 minutes? What are you, crazy? You can't talk for 2 straight minutes. Everyone will tune out.
That's a good point. Okay. So
who wants to? When was the last time you had a conversation that lasted more than 14 seconds?
Well, how am I?
Never, I say. When you meet up with your friends at the bar, when you're sitting down, you don't talk about 3, 4, 5 different topics in one sitting. No.
True.
One topic.
Yeah.
One topic, and then at the end of that topic, you say, that is the end of this topic, not to be brought up again. Then you take a few minutes to listen to some commercials, perhaps have a drink, and then when you come back, you are talking about something completely different.
I just feel like I'm going to need more than 14 seconds to go through celebrity birthdays.
Well, it looks like you're looking for a job then.
But hang on. Hang on. Can you get the watch ready? And I will try to see how many celebrity birthdays I can zip through in the allotted 14 seconds.
Yeah, but look, speaking as an industry professional, calling it celebrity birthdays, it's just not going to cut it.
Okay.
There needs to be some kind of tie-in to the radio station that we work for.
Sure.
Let's call it Laser 106. So if you can incorporate those a bit.
Just a few seconds off
like
of
that. Let's see.
Off of the 14 seconds,
Maybe,
but I can get that in. Okay, 14 seconds. Boy, oh boy.
What rhymes with laser? Anything? Taser? No, probably wouldn't be good.
Speaking of tasers! 106.
Oh, okay, so a laser makes like a zap noise, so we could call the birthday club will be like laser zaps or something. Hey, special laser zap to Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
He turns 40 today.
Okay, all right.
So,
I got it.
all right.
Do you think we'd get sued if we played like the last 10 seconds of a song?
Yeah.
We would.
How about I just find some
You know what? Play the end. Play like the last few beats of our of Malt Shop Bop, maybe.
It doesn't really fit the format. People are going to tune out.
Well, you just told me we'd get sued if we played anything better. So we're stuck on MacLeod.
Hold on. We got to have something, right? Oh, okay. Here. This is our ending, our closing music. So I'm going to play this, and I'm going to cue you.
When you want me to go.
When I want you to go. Sure. And remember, 14 seconds.
I got to tell you, it just doesn't seem like enough time. But listen,
remember,
I am beholden
what's
to
the name
rules.
of the station?
Laser 106.
Okay. What are these called?
Zap Days. Happy Zaps.
Laser Zaps.
Laser Zaps. I'm sorry. I can't believe I just ruined our own station.
You got to get the name of the show in there, obviously.
Steve and Kyle radio show. Boy, I'm running out of seconds to actually get to the birthday.
So I'm going to cue you.
Yeah.
When it's time to go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, song's coming to a close.
Welcome back, Laser 106. Happy Laser Zap today to actor Joe Keery from Stranger Things. Also, happy Laser Zap to Kelly Clarkson. She's turning 39 today, Steve. Is that it?
The song just started, yeah.
Oh. So I got 2 birthdays in. I didn't even get to do a time check.
You got 2 what in?
Oh, sorry. 2 laser zaps.
I'm gonna piece it together so it sounds a little cleaner. All right. So the song, you're gonna hear one song.
I feel like I missed one of the requirements there too. I need another shot at it. I think I screwed the pooch, and I'd like to really give it my all. Because listen, we've only got 20 years before your cohorts are dead, and this sizzle reel needs to be ready to play the hits and bits.
All right, let me get. You know something? You're gonna go. I also need you to front sell the song that that you're going into.
Sure.
So
no, that's only fair. You don't want to go in blind like you'd sound like a real buffoon.
Okay.
Trying to find. Okay, I got 2 fresh birthdays ready for you.
Fresh what?
Fresh laser zaps. You see, that's the thing. I feel like I have to live my day to day. Instead of saying like calling up my nephew and saying, "Hey, happy birthday," I'd say, "Hey, happy laser zap," because it needs to be in my system.
Hey, if you want a laser zap from the Steve and Kyle podcast, you can tweet at us or send us a Facebook message.
Now, I don't want to put too much more on this production. Again, limited to 14 seconds in between songs. Did we have a laser sound effect to play once I wish?
So every time you do it...
Yeah. Oh, happy laser zap today to TV actor Miles Butler Houghton.
I might have to do them on my own. I can't play two different.
That's what I mean.
Two different
right now we're
sources.
limited, but when we're at the unlimited resources and financial capability of Laser 106, I think we'll be in much better shape.
Okay.
Boy, a lot of birthdays, huh?
A whole lot, yeah.
The website I pulled up, though, bogged down with TikTok and YouTube people. So I'm trying to find names that people would actually recognize and know, because I don't think wishing a happy 37th laser zap to Frankie McDonald, the YouTube star.
You know something? I'm feeling a little bit generous today. Maybe you had some good ratings in the last book. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds.
30? Okay. Well, now
is that too much?
No, Steve. I once listed off my top 5 1990s Indiana Pacers. Is 30 seconds too long? Is offensive to ask me.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find a good laser zap sound effect here. Oh boy, I think I got one.
Okay. Is that too long? No, you know what? You gave me extra time.
I think it's
We're
perfect.
going to use that to juice up the show a little bit.
Okay, hold on now. All right.
So you got a lot of things to shuffle right now.
You're going to know the song, and I'm gonna give you like a 5-second warning when you're about to hit the post, as we say here in the biz.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go.
Laser 106, welcome back to Steve and Kyle Radio Show. Happy 79th Laser Zap to Barbara Streisand today. Happy 75th birthday to reality TV star Phil Robertson. And finally, happy 57th Laser Zap to Cedric the Entertainer, Steve. Here comes Fighter's Desire by a couple of bros. Go.
You totally forgot to ID out.
Oh, Laser 106. And that would have filled that little...
It would have been perfect.
Oh, my God. I would have nailed it. I believe I messed up the middle laser zap on Phil Robertson with saying birthday like some idiot.
Oh, what a chump.
Going forward, if you are out and about or at a celebration, I would ask all of our listeners to now wish a happy laser zap instead of a happy birthday.
Record it, because we'd like to hear the confusion on the other end.
Yeah, because again, anybody outside of about 5 blocks of Steve's house will not understand what that is in reference to.
Let's see. We will get a video from Trevor, Nashville. Trevor will definitely walk around the office wishing people a happy laser zap.
Yep. One half of the Brothers Humphrey will probably go harass a drive-through attendant.
Speaking of which, a big shout out to Jeremy Humphrey, who
doesn't listen.
Apparently was getting surgery the other day.
Oh, was he?
On the old melon.
The dome?
Yeah.
Wow.
Getting brain surgery.
Oh, I had no idea. I believe when I'd been messaging a little bit with the other half, Steven, and he had said that he had been off of work for a little bit, Jeremy, related to, I thought it was a work injury, but that's scary. Hopefully all is well there in the Brothers Humphrey world, and they can go back to breaking limbs to gain money for the loan shark that they work for.
Yeah.
Shortly.
Right, yeah. They're basically the Bushwhackers.
Yeah.
If you remember the old wrestling tag team.
I just hope Steven has the time to now guard the phone booth from people who want to use it so he can properly charge them.
On the rural country road that they live on.
Yeah. I just get the idea that maybe Steven's sitting out by the end of the road with not a produce stand, but like a table of vegetables he bought from the store, calling it the Humphrey Produce Stand. It's like a cucumber in a wrapper.
He's actually losing money on them.
He's selling it at a loss, but he doesn't realize it because he's taking the money. But I made this money. But, no offense.
He's like your kid when all they know is quantity, but they don't know value.
Sure.
So they think that 3 single dollar bills is more valuable than one $10 bill.
I have 80 pennies. This is so much better than these 4 quarters.
My 80 monies is worth more.
Well, anyway, we wish you the best, Jeremy. Hopefully you're well. If you're still listening, we'd love to have a chat with you about what they poked around on in there.
Yeah.
Because I've only seen that.
I wonder if he can play the violin now or something.
I always see there's videos of brain surgery where some of them they have to keep you awake.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk to you during it, which
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah, they tell you Like, okay, say your ABCs, and then they're just poking in there, so
That's
you're like
crazy.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah, A, B, C, D, orange. And next thing you know, Jeremy's asleep.
But again, nothing but the best.
Steven, Jeremy, if you're listening, please let us know. We'd love to chat with you about what went on, how that went, because more importantly, we still need to make time to get on your podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, one more thing I wanted to plug on behalf of a friend of the show, Steve, before we get to a recap of the 2021 Poll Badness Final Four. Our friend Philip, who has done a lot of artwork for us in the past, has entered into a mascot design contest for the Lake Placid 2023 Winter World University Games.
Oh, nice.
And they're doing an online voting thing. You can find the link for that on his Twitter at Phil Apart, PhilApart. If it's easier, you can go to at Steve and Kyle. I retweeted it a couple of days ago. It's there as well. Please help him out. That would be it. Plus, the design's awesome.
What did he come up with?
So I forget the name.
And what was it for again? The
2023. Let me see. I'm sorry, I already forgot it. 2023 Winter World University Games held in Lake Placid next year.
Okay.
He has the name is Skylar, and it's Skylar. And look at that piece of work. Okay, you're pulling it up
right
because that thing is
that
beautiful.
is awesome.
That is so awesome. And even if it doesn't win, make that beak Steve's face, and we'll sell it on some merch. But please help him out.
I wish he would have made us the bird's face.
I know, right?
Okay, come on.
Well, now that he's got the base, maybe he can just kind of swap in a head. Is that how that works when you draw?
Yeah.
You just swap in a head?
Yeah, cut and paste. Just like in Microsoft Word.
Please check that out. Again, at Phil Apart on Twitter. The link there to vote for him and his design. Hopefully he can win. That would be pretty cool to see that on a bunch of shirts and jerseys and stuff.
Definitely.
2023. But, Steve, it is time. We need to get down to the national championship, the international championship of the 2021 Poll Badness Bracket.
Mm-hmm.
That's our yearly tournament that this year we decided to switch up and introduce our year's best polls. And listen, we're a learning podcast. We did 64 this year. We're going to be wrapping up in May. Mm-hmm. I think next year we maybe cut that down a round. Or, nope, that's the only solution. We just do fewer matchups so we can get this thing done closer to April.
Did you say that this was by some bros?
Yeah, I forgot their names.
I don't know. All right, what do we got now? Final four.
Hang on. By the way, a stanza too late. I said it last week.
If you want to be the best, you got to be a
fighter.
If you want to be
Right?
the best,
Nothing gets you motivated like fighters desired by those couple bros. So the Final Four took place this last week. Good number of votes on these, Steve. Again, these are available. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Steve and Kyle. The national championship will be posted this week for your voting pleasure. We had two number 2 seeds matching up. Now that the coronavirus is dominating the headlines, are the Sharks making their move? Took on is Sonny Bono, the godfather of the ski tree incident.
Well, that's a solid matchup.
It was a nail biter, Steve. A nail biter.
Give me some percentages.
51.8% said is Sonny Bono, the godfather of the ski tree incident, is the winner.
Yes!
So is Sonny Bono, the godfather of the ski tree incident, moves on into the international championship of the 2021 Poll Badness Bracket, taking on the winner of the number 8 seed. Does this podcast end with a slip and fall lawsuit? Bit of a Cinderella story there. Number 8 seed going all the way to the Final Four. It took on, though, a juggernaut, Steve. Number 1 seed were the Apostles, known for chiseling the word boobs into rocks. The number 1 seed there, the only number 1 seed advancing to the Final Four, and with 53.8% of the vote. Ooh. Very close. Were the Apostles, known for chiseling the word boobs into rocks, moves on.
Nice.
To take on his Sonny Bono, the godfather of the ski tree incident. A number 1 seed, a number 2 seed. A lot of chalk, Steve. Mm-hmm. But that's it. It's to be expected when you have such a loaded bracket. Congrats to all the Cinderellas who did make a run to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and even the Final Four. But the real juggernauts are here to close up shop on 2021 Poll Badness. Again, those will be at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for your voting this week.
Yeah. Vote early, vote often.
We're going to throw together a little merch for the international champion. It's just going to be a picture of the winning tweet in the middle with some fancy fonts and graphics around it. So that'll be up on the merch shop after next week, so everybody can look at you while you walk around in public and go, "What's wrong with that person?" That'll be up shortly after the tournament ends next week. Again, in May.
Yeah, early May.
But that's okay because we don't want to step too many. We don't want to put too many toes in the water of the NCAA March Madness. We don't want to get sued.
That's strategic. That's why we took the word March out of the title altogether. Yep. It's Pole Badness, not March Madness.
Maybe next year we just run it from like January to June. What do you think?
Boy, that seems terrible. That's not something I want to do.
Oh, that's all I have, Steve. But in lieu of the it being the last episode of the month, we did say we are going to be bringing back on a monthly basis the Fast Five.
Fast Five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. I believe you went first.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't remember, but it seems like you do. I was going to say otherwise we could
I feel
flip,
like you did.
spin, roll the dreidel.
All right.
Do you roll a dreidel or spin? You just spin.
spin.
You just spin.
Yeah, you spin the dreidel.
Sorry.
Roll it.
My apologies to Brian. Not the entire group of Jewish people.
No, just
Brian,
the one that's called that's called this show.
just the friend of the podcast who sent us the dreidels. I feel like I just offended him.
Boy, brief sidebar, but I listened back because I think it was that episode. What? No, it wasn't that episode that we did video for. It was, but I happened to pull that episode up on my TV upstairs because every week our episodes also go out on YouTube. We never promote it. Nobody ever finds it.
Yeah,
they get like 2 views a week
it's kind
or
of
something.
Kind of a backlog for us. So if something happened where we lost all of our episodes, we at least have a backup for it.
We figure, what the heck, push it out to everywhere possible. So the other day or last week or something, I was flipping through. I was like, oh, let me see which one this is. And I started playing it, and it was the intro where we called Brian, and then there was like 6 seconds of awkward silence. And I was like, hey, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast. Yep.
Just like he couldn't care less.
Right.
Like we had definitely inconvenienced him.
Couldn't even muster up a, hey guys, how are you? Good to talk to you.
Yep. It was that we had inconvenienced Brian.
It was simply an acknowledgement. And I thought it was perfect, and I was very happy to hear that again.
Always love talking to Brian. Always do enjoy it and look forward to it. Steve, you said I went first last time, so you're going first?
Yeah, I'm going to go first this time. Okay, first on the list for the Fast Five, the Mars helicopter flight.
Okay, cool.
All right, next.
We can't even fly a helicopter on Earth without Kobe Bryant hitting a hill.
Oh, jeez. I got to bring Mamba into this.
Well, yet we're worried about a little tin can going 15 feet off the ground on a different planet? What did it discover?
It's like hundreds of millions of miles away.
Yeah, what did it discover?
It'd be like you controlling a helicopter, on Mars.
Did it find anything new?
Well, not yet, but look.
It's the equivalent of the idiot who golfed a ball on the moon.
It's the Wright brothers.
Meaningless.
It's the Wright brothers.
It'll be some form of this will be on the poll because I think what a waste of money, time, energy, manpower. What else? Who cares? Hey,
so space exploration is not your thing.
Space exploration is neat. Shooting a tin can helicopter 20 feet in the air on a different planet that doesn't do anything. It's not like
look, man, you gotta crawl before you can walk.
What are we crawling for? Are we going to be flying helicopters on Mars?
It's to discover to explore the Martian surface.
They've already got 15 rovers that run out of battery after a week. Like, well, sorry, $100 million is in this Mars ravine that we didn't see. Ted was asleep at the joystick and ran him into the ground.
We're gonna have to get more to. We'll talk more about this on the turnaround.
Stupid.
Okay, next the Derek Chauvin verdict.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to pile on anything what hasn't been said already, right? I mean, you never know with a trial by jury how it's going to go, but when you see that short verdict, you always, my mind immediately went to, oh, that's going to be, it would have to be a guilty if it's that short.
Oh,
but
you mean the short deliberation?
the short deliberation. I'm sorry,
because it was less than a day,
16 hours total, I believe. 6 hours one day, 10 hours the other, I believe.
Yeah,
and it didn't seem like there was much debate. That
I'm so curious about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Though, like, did they go in there?
Talk.
I mean, did they go in there because they're what 12 jurors, right?
12.
And did they go in there? Like, I always want to know, like the movie 12 Angry Men.
Mm-hmm.
When they first go in there, everybody, but it's basically one versus the other 11, one way, and then the one dude convinces everybody else to switch.
Sure.
I want to know what the breakdown is in this. Like, was it
that short?
Were they already out 11-1?
That's what I'm feeling. Like,
or do you think that maybe they went in there and they were already 12-0? But I would hope that in this case they would do their due diligence and be like, look, even though we all agree, let's just go over this, and this.
Sure.
To make sure that we're not missing anything.
Yeah. And I would feel like, based on that amount of time, and again, we don't know. Nobody's spoken publicly as far as I know. I feel like it was probably like 10-2.
Yeah.
And the 10 just sat there and verbally, I'm not going to say beat down the 2, but that's what it is. It's at that point, it's, hey, there's 10 of us saying this. Here's what we're saying. There's 2 of you saying this, and you slowly win them both over. And then the second it's done, you're like, boom, send it to the judge before anybody can change their mind. So, I've never
been on a jury, but I've always been curious as to how that deliberation works.
Sure.
And because I'm sure that it was probably, like, you have to imagine that the people that are there, that it could get heated or they could be passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And to be a fly on the wall in something like that would be very interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be so turned off by jury duty like a lot of people say they are.
I mean, it seems like it's definitely an inconvenience.
Well, it's an inconvenience, but
it's an inconvenience if you're getting some, like, stupid rinky-dink case.
Right. Right.
Not to say that, like, it would be great to get, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to...
You don't want to be involved for 8 days with one dude being his own lawyer because he's mad that, he took a traffic cone and now he's in trouble.
He can't grow corn in his, in his residential zoned area or something like that.
Snooze, not worth your time.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, I think it would be cool to be part of something, like to be part of history, because this is going to be something that is going to be talked about for years and years and years and generations to come, like this verdict. And there will be movies about it.
Sure. I always find it hard to believe that they are able to find people who are like, wait, what's this case?
Yeah, you got to wonder, like, do they just lie? Do they lie about that? Because how could you have not heard about this?
It's impossible, right? Impossible.
Yeah. But we'll talk more about that
on the turnaround.
Yeah, of course. This is the Fast Five.
Yeah, the fast. We're zooming.
Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
I have thoughts. I don't have time to get into them because I'm upset because the government did a total disservice to that vaccine and the vaccination process, and I think it's just horrifically dumb what they did. So dumb.
Okay, next. The.
Oh, you're done?
The.
Is there some controversy about that word?
Ohio State and Mark Jacobs come to a truce over a trademark of the word the.
Just go both launch yourself off a cliff.
The university
Honestly.
and the fashion brand have agreed to let each other use the on merchandise until the trademark offices reach a decision.
Are we going to get in trouble because we have the on our merch? We're going to have OSU on our tail or Mark Jacobs yelling at us?
Yeah.
Fascinatingly dumb.
How this doesn't get just dismissed as frivolous.
What a waste of time. I don't...
All right. And finally, Caitlyn Jenner. Running for
She'll
governor,
probably
governor
win,
of
too,
California.
right? She'll probably win.
I mean...
California loves their celebrities.
And California is very liberal, so...
She's... I had heard she was running as a conservative.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, Schwarzenegger won as a conservative celebrity. I guess I should double check before I just assume
Actually,
that.
yeah.
She was anti-gay marriage until she, quote, changed her mind on that.
Right.
I'm announced his run for California governor. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of as a GOP candidate. Yep,
Wow.
GOP.
That is...
I think very possible she could win.
To be honest, I have not really followed the Caitlyn Jenner storyline over the last couple of years that closely, but I would have just assumed that celebrity living in California that she would be liberal.
Yeah.
Guess not.
Schwarzenegger won out there as a Republican 2 terms. It can sway. California seems to sway to their celebrity. I mean, as much as they try to go against it, boy, they love their Hollywood, don't they?
Yeah.
Gosh almighty, they do. Yeah, I mean, I think what was funny about that is I read a tweet, and in fairness, I haven't verified. Somebody said they went to their website, and there's nothing regarding her positions or policies, but there's a merch tab. So that should tell you everything you need to know about,
what Caitlyn Jenner merch are you buying?
I'm sure it's all just Caitlyn Jenner for governor.
Yeah.
Right? And people are going to gobble it up right off of the bat. And who knows? She has no idea about whatever. It's the same. I mean, Donald Trump was president. He didn't know anything about politics. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a governor. He didn't know anything about politics. So it doesn't seem to matter anymore. So who cares? Yippee.
I always got the idea that Schwarzenegger did, though. Did he have a reputation as being a guy that didn't know anything?
Well, I don't know about not knowing anything, but just the fact that he was zero politics, and then boom, he's a governor.
Yeah.
Because, granted, also it's because of his name, and it's the same thing. That has power. Mm-hmm. Like when you recognize the name, like, "Ooh, that'd be fun."
But wasn't that kind of like? It was similar when Jesse Ventura ran in Minnesota.
Yeah. He won based on his name, and now look at him. He's a conspiracy nut, and he's off the wall.
Yeah.
The man governed a state.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I did just pull up Caitlyn for California. CaitlynJenner.com just says, I'm in. You sign up for an email to join, and sure enough, shop and donate. Nothing regarding any policies.
Whatever, man. I guess, we had, like you said, Donald Trump as president for 4 years, so, and The Rock still says he's mulling a presidential run for 2024. So who knows?
Ridiculous.
All right, before that,
Yeah, I think I accurately summed up my feelings by saying, both of them, please go jump off a cliff.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it was paused because of some very rare cases where it caused blood clots in recipients. But I just read last night that it's been given the green light again.
Yeah, so it's back on after literally no changes, just a week pause. Here's my issue, Steve. This has already been a somewhat uphill battle to convince an overwhelming majority of the public. Now, it seems like the majority of the public is totally on board with getting vaccinated because it's not a microchip from Bill Gates. It's also not a government plant. It
just hasn't been activated yet.
That's a good point. It's just waiting for the time.
I can't wait till my 5G kicks in.
So what they've done, the government, by pausing this vaccine use over 6 cases out of 7+ million doses, which is, I don't need to put the decimal place. It's an incredibly small number. Yeah. And of those 6, 1 person passed away.
Which sucks.
Granted, that's not great. That's terrible. Anytime anybody loses their life, especially when trying to better themselves or prevent themselves from getting sick from another disease, it's horrible. Mm-hmm. But the fact that this seemed so isolated, it seemed to be it was females only from 18 to 48. So to pause it on a nationwide scale, now my wife is a nurse, and I don't think I'm violating any type of HIPAA things with this, had multiple people come in that next day saying, I had the Johnson & Johnson. Is that why my stomach hurt last week? Things like that where, no, it was 6 cases out of 7 million, and it was a blood clot, not a stomach ache. They put this vaccination effort now behind the 8 ball by pausing it. And, a lot of the talk around these vaccines, and less so with Johnson & Johnson because it doesn't have to be kept in the ultra-cold conditions, is they waste. You have a time period where you have to use these. So all of those doses that had been shipped are now just sitting there, and now the clock was ticking, and now they're wasted again. I think it was a
What is
massive,
the shelf life on them?
I don't know on the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I know
Interesting.
once you open a vial of one of the other ones, it's like a couple of days tops. But they've now put public perception of the Johnson & Johnson, which
Sure.
by having the Johnson & Johnson really helped the public perception because it was a company that people knew.
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson is people are washing their babies with their soap.
Yeah, nobody had ever heard of Moderna.
Right. Moderna literally had never brought a vaccine to market.
Yeah.
Now, Pfizer's different, but Pfizer's
Pfizer,
known
yeah.
for bringing Viagra to market.
Right, yeah.
So those two didn't have the name power of saying, trust us with your body and your health.
Yeah.
But Johnson & Johnson, people had a little faith in. So to dent it for 6 cases out of 7+ million and 1 death seems so short-sighted to me.
Sure.
I was very perturbed when they stopped it because you could just issue a warning with the use of Johnson & Johnson in this number of cases, or, we have encountered blood clot issues. If you have blood clot history, we recommend maybe getting a different vaccine if possible. But when your whole talk has been take whatever vaccine you can get, don't be picky. If you get in line, they tell you Johnson & Johnson, take it. But to now pause the Johnson & Johnson and then with no changes or anything, say back out there. It's so so short-sighted and oblivious on the government's part, which shouldn't be that surprising, but
Right.
just a huge mistake.
Before that, the Derek Chauvin verdict.
Yeah, I don't have a ton more to add. I mean, it is what it is. We all saw what we saw more than a year ago.
Yeah.
It's hard to dispute what we saw, as much as the defense tried to paint a different picture than what science says.
Well, I mean, especially when you had so many people that, were supposedly that you would have expected to be on his side.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, this is one of the first cases where what do they call it? The blue wall? Is that what the reference is?
Yeah.
Where, officers kind of no matter what will
defend each other.
This is the first time on a public level where that veil seemed to fall. So who knows if it's a block towards the future in terms of, are more of these going to be prosecuted? Who knows?
Yeah.
I know two things. One, that's just horrifically tragic. And two, I can't imagine anybody becoming a cop anymore.
I know. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not trying to come out on any side of anything, but that's a difficult job.
Sure.
And now everything's filmed.
Yeah.
And we're all humans.
That job is hard as hell to begin with.
Yeah.
You're voluntarily saying, "Yep, I'm volunteering to be put in the worst situations."
Yeah, it's terrifying. I feel bad for everybody, friends, family of George Floyd. It's obviously horrible what happened and how he passed away. So, as always, though, the important to stay away from the internet comments.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Because I mean, I have friends in law enforcement, and I don't know how they deal with that. And it's got to be extremely difficult, and but yeah, it's hard to watch a 9-minute video and not be like, what are you doing, man? He was, in my opinion, he was a bad cop.
Yeah,
and that doesn't mean that I think all cops are bad.
Sure,
he was a bad cop, just like there are bad doctors and there are bad construction workers and bad accountants.
Hosts.
They're terrible radio hosts.
There's bad at everything. It's just when you're bad at this, it's life and death.
Exactly. Yeah. A bad accountant means, oh crap, I might get audited next year. But when you have that power, as cheesy as it, with that great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely. And no question. Yeah. The biggest takeaway for me this week was, if that wasn't filmed, what could have happened? Because a lot of
all the ones that haven't been filmed.
Yeah, because you saw the police report after that about how a man dies after a medical incident following arrest, and obviously it's not what happened. And thank goodness that that young female who videotaped the whole ordeal made this form of justice possible. But I mean, it didn't feel like OJ level to me.
Yeah,
but it was still like, granted, this is big. This is police, for the first time on a massive scale being prosecuted for some wrongdoing.
And first on the list, something you were not excited about at all: the Mars helicopter flight.
What a turd. I mean, who cares? Okay, hang on. What's next?
What needs to happen on Mars for you to be...
Somebody to be there.
So that's so right now, everything that's going on there, you're just not interested in?
I've seen enough pictures. Cool. It's red dust everywhere. Super neat. Let's get the next step moving. I mean, they claim in years past they'd found evidence that there at least used to be water there. That seems revelatory. Again, launching one of those kick foot rockets into the air 20 feet. It doesn't. Unless, what is it taking pictures of that the rover doesn't? It's dumb. It's super dumb. How about this? How about we get a person there and he throws a drone into the air and flies the drone on Mars? That's when I'll care.
I am looking forward to now. I mean, this is cool for me. But I'd be lying if I said I'm jumping out of my seat when I see these images or anything like that. But for me, it's interesting to follow the storyline, and I'm really interested in it. But yeah, when we get a person on, when we're filming reality shows on Mars,
yes.
Oh, then I'm full in. I'm 100% in.
Yeah, and seeing as that I mean, it won't be any different than most reality shows. Like right now, Big Brother, where they throw them in a house. Well, you have to live in this bubble on Mars because you can't walk out because the environment's not livable.
Yeah, except if you do walk outside, you're instantly dead.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Did you see, though, I also read an article yesterday where they have some, I forget what the contraption is called, but it's about the size of a toaster, and it was able to produce oxygen on Mars.
Oh, really?
And by taking in carbon dioxide, it's somehow able to run this process where it produces oxygen, and it produced enough oxygen that you or I could use to breathe for 10 minutes. So it's minuscule. I mean, very, very tiny.
Right, but if you can start doing that on a large scale, it changes things.
Because they said the ability to produce oxygen will make it eventually possible. If you can produce it on large scales, you'll eventually be able to produce enough to that you would need to produce rocket fuel to get a craft off of Mars and back.
Okay.
Because right now it's impossible. They can land something on Mars, but it's there forever.
Yeah.
It's not coming back. Because there's not
enough fuel.
They don't have enough fuel. Yeah, they would have to bring all the fuel there to then fuel the ride home.
So we need a rocket carrying fuel to just crash there so that the next rocket can go there, gather stuff, load up that fuel.
But it's got to crash in such a way that it doesn't destroy the fuel.
Boy.
Yeah.
A lot of irons in the fire.
It's quite a needle to thread.
Feels like a job for Elon Musk.
So... that's the latest on Mars.
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Little overlap, Steve. First up, though, the 2020 Summer Olympics.
They're still calling it the 2020 Summer Olympics, right?
And they are in danger again.
Are they?
Yeah. Tokyo has declared its third national emergency since the coronavirus outbreak. And
why? What's going on?
They are back into lockdown for at least 6 weeks or 4 weeks, and that will leave less than 10 weeks before the games are supposed to start.
In July?
I believe they start the first week in August. So the 2020/2021 Summer Olympics are again in danger. I think at this point they'd be better off scrapping them as a whole and just giving Tokyo the next bid that hasn't been given yet.
Give them,
a make good.
Either that or just give them 2024.
Yeah.
Push everything else back for you.
Yeah, but then you've already got merch and stuff, and everything's set for 2024. Maybe.
Where is 2024?
I believe it's Los Angeles again.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Personally, my opinion is they should have scrapped it a year ago and just not even tried. We knew back then that a year from now things weren't going to be back to normal.
Right.
As much as maybe you didn't want to admit it, or people were like, "Oh, that's just that's speculating." We knew it wasn't going to be back to normal.
Yeah, and they've already announced no outside spectators.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody will be from Japan and media. So it's I don't know that it's going to happen, but they seem hellbent on making these Olympics happen.
That's a lot of money.
Yep, that's a lot of money going into that bid and the production and everything. Next up, Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, I mean, good for her. It's like any other time you hear that a celebrity's running for political office, you kind of roll your eyes. You're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And after having, a reality star president for 4 years. It's not surprising at all. Not surprising in one bit.
Seems to be that's the next big line of politicians.
Yeah.
Is reality TV and other type of celebrities.
Yep.
What a weird change this country's undergone.
Mm-hmm.
And
to say the least.
Were people that surprised with Reagan? Because Reagan was an actor, but Reagan also worked his way up through a political line.
Right, yeah.
At some point. So I guess, I was a baby, so I don't really know. But was there, were the debates in 1980, whatever, with Reagan and his opponents going, you're gonna hire this guy, an old Hollywood guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I think things were a little more civilized back then.
Probably. Next up, Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, I kind of I share similar opinion to you. Like, it seems like it was, I hesitate to say much ado about nothing, because, like you said, somebody did lose their life, and there were other cases where, it's a blood clot's obviously serious medical condition.
Sure.
But when you hear that one?
Oh man, still not doing it.
If we had, again, it was 7 million doses administered. I mean, it's 0.00000 whatever.
It's way down the list. I mean, it's an overreaction. I get that it's a new vaccine, so the skepticism, and what's sad is the people who now and still refuse to get the vaccine will just point to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
What if I get a blood clot and die? Oh, you mean like the one person out of, not just Johnson & Johnson, but out of the hundreds of millions of people who have received vaccines overall, you mean that one person?
Right.
That is,
that is good decision.
That is the quite literal needle in a haystack. Not really a fair comparison. Next up, the Kentucky Derby. Triple Crown time, Steve.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround, as you know, and as we talked about at length last year. They ran the Derby late last year because everything coronavirus was started, so they bumped it to late in the year. Well, this year, right on time. The running of the Kentucky Derby taking place this upcoming Saturday, 6:57 Eastern Post Time. Who do you got?
Smarty Jones.
Rest in peace.
I'm surprised you're so into this, because it's about horses and you hate horses.
Yeah, but there's always that part of me that's hoping
for the white sheet,
and the overalled Kentuckian carrying a shotgun, spitting a wad of tobacco.
Do they have a guy on standby at the Kentucky Derby, and they call him Dr. Death or the Grim Reaper, the Executioner, or whatever?
And he's the guy who, it's the same. He loads the same shell every year, and he goes home once a year, puts it back on his mantle, and says, "Till next year, old girl." And he puts a shotgun on the wall, and he just waits. Yep. That's his year, is waiting for the Kentucky Derby, so Dr. Death can make his appearance on the track at Churchill Downs. Yeah. I love horse racing. I love it. I think it's the only thing they should be used for and are good for. If you're not going to be a racing horse, send them to Elmer's. Okay? Done with them.
So you find as though horses do no other good?
They don't do any other good. What other good do they do?
Transportation, pulling plows.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this the 1860s? I just got done watching Ken Burns' Civil War, Steve. All 11 hours.
Oh, Jesus. Why would you choose such a thing?
Outstanding. It's outstanding. And there are images of cannonballs which had just must have rolled through just lines of horses, and all these idiots turned on their sides. Done. It was the most beautiful image I'd ever seen. They're useless in today's age. They're just useless, Steve.
So that's why you're looking forward to the Kentucky Derby. Got it.
Always fingers crossed. That's coming up this Saturday. I do love the Triple Crown, the pinnacle, the fastest, what did I say, the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. And lastly, Steve, the Oscars. They took place.
That's movies, right?
Yeah, they took place 2 nights ago.
You're kidding.
On Sunday night, April 25th. What was your takeaway from the winners and losers? What about the red carpet? Who'd you think?
Jane.
It is weird because
Jane Lynch, was she there?
I don't know if she's been.
No, Jane Goodall.
Jane, the woman who talked to the gorillas or the monkeys.
Yeah,
I saw her too. Walking the red carpet with
See that dress she had on?
Coco the gorilla.
Always a safe bet. I think. Yeah, maybe put that on the poll. Is it always a safe bet that gorillas are named Coco?
It's weird because I usually do care about the Oscars. I usually, like, on a yearly basis, I'll tune in because I'm a movie guy. I love seeing the award winners. But this last year, things have been so weird that almost all of these movies have been released straight to streaming and different places you can't access them, that I haven't seen a ton of them, so I can't comment. And it's so different for me watching a movie at home. When you have a 2-year-old, you're like,
sure,
hey,
yeah,
pause.
I mean, especially if you're somebody who likes the whole, like, you don't just like movies, you like the whole experience of going to the movies. Like the reclining seats and the popcorn and the
overpowering sound, the size of the screen. So, when I'm pausing Judas and the Black Messiah to, get my son from stop jumping on the bed, it takes, it's a little bit of a different experience than if I was sitting in a theater. So that is tomorrow, Steve. That is Sunday night.
Yeah, of course it's tomorrow.
But they're doing it all mostly virtual and from LA and New York. So totally different setup.
That's how Jane Goodall will be there. She'll be there.
Hologram Jane Goodall. I didn't want to say, I think she's dead.
Oh, I'm assuredly so. She's dead. I think she's been dead for 30 years probably.
Yeah, she died in... Steve, she's not dead.
What?
She's born in 1934. She's 87 years old.
Hey, good for her.
Wait,
she's got a shot at the Oscar then.
Did we just kill Jane? Before that, the Kentucky Derby. Will you be tuning in? Do you tune in? Because you're not a sports guy. You're not whatever. And I understand all that. You don't tune in. Do you tune in? You tune in for the Super Bowl. But like event TV, the Kentucky Derby, other things like that. Are you tuning in at all?
If I happen, it's never appointment viewing for me.
Okay, so you're not making time like.
But if I happen to think like if you send me a text the day that it's on and say, hey, Derby starts in 3 minutes, Channel 5.
Yep.
I'll turn it on. I'll watch it. But but I'm going to be watching it as if I was watching a cricket match. Like, I just don't
care.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, I look at it and I'm going to be going in 3 years. I'm going to be going to the Kentucky.
Really?
It's going to be the 150th running.
Really?
So it'll be.
You going to wear a big hat?
No, because I'm going to hang out with all the turds in the pit in the middle of the field that can barely see the track.
Okay.
Because seats in the stadium area are.
Do you have to get dressed up for that?
You don't have to. No.
Okay.
But it's like minimum $600 just to be sitting in a seat. Well, you can go sit in the pit with all the losers, with the beer helmet hats, the beer can on the helmet.
Right.
And
cut off jorts.
Yep, cut off jorts. A bunch of sleeveless, but not like bought sleeveless, cut sleeveless tees.
So basically, you're going to be dressed like you were dressed in our old logo.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. I'll be going to that in 3 years. So I love it. The sound, the thundering, and then just that hope for just a stub toe. You just always hope. Get him! Before that, Johnson & Johnson, we kind of talked about that ad nauseum.
Yeah. Get a shot, folks. If you're offered one, if you have the means to get one, not even the means. There are no means.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity, get a shot.
Yeah, we're at the point where the supply is about to outpace the demand. So at this point, if you wanted one, you can get one.
Yep.
So start getting in line. Please do it for everybody else around you.
If you can't find a way to get to where you need to go, there are organizations set up all across the country specifically for that.
Yeah, we can throw our name into the hat for that too.
I actually thought about volunteering for that.
Like driving?
Yeah, being somebody to
drive people
transport
to
people to go get shots.
That's still a very, among the underprivileged and among the elderly, that's a legitimate concern.
That's a real problem.
Yep, it absolutely is.
There are so many vaccination sites. At least, I mean, and I consider where we are pretty typical of the rest of the country. Like, you can get a shot if you need a shot.
Yep.
If you can't get one, if you can't figure out how to get one, Google it. I promise somebody that somebody in your jurisdiction is going to be able to help you. Call the local health department. Yep. You're going to be able to get one.
Please do it for everybody else around you. Before that, Caitlyn Jenner talked about her ad nauseum as well. Seems to be the running theme. I did read a headline this morning. The Kardashians will not be stumping for Caitlyn.
Really?
Not surprising. I don't get the impression that the Kardashians share the political leanings that Caitlyn does. So really even when before Caitlyn transitioned, she was leaning to the conservative side of things, and I don't get that impression from the Kardashian family. So seems like they're not going to be out in the pulpit for her anymore. Lastly, the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympics.
Yeah, like I said,
you're an Olympics guy?
I'm shocked. Yeah, Olympics are. I'd watch them more than I would watch the Kentucky Derby.
Okay, and I know I probably asked you that in the past, but there's something about the difference with me in the Olympics and a lot of people get so caught up in the open. I hate the opening ceremonies.
I'm not really big on the opening ceremonies.
Give me the events. Get into
exactly.
it.
I want to see the world records be broken. And
show me the athletic feats, please.
The Usain Bolt type runners and all of that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's fun to watch.
I'll be watching if they end up taking place, because one, it's going to end up being a bit of an oddity as well. Not many people in the stands and only people from Japan. And I'll be curious to see, hey, are they separating the athletes while they're out there? Or are they just, hey, you have to stay in the village. Once you're tested, you're here. You can't leave.
kind of like quarantining as a group. Yeah.
So I bet the Olympics won't be the place where this seemingly necessary push to get sports back on will die. Because I remember we talked about this back last summer, the NFL, when, hey, the NFL, are they going to come back? Well, yeah, because the NFL is not going to be the one who misses it, right?
Yeah.
Baseball figured it out. Hockey and basketball figured it out. Football is not going to be the one to say, well, we can't do it. Right. They're not going to miss out on the dollars and be the one that people look back on and say, hey, they couldn't figure it out.
Sure.
And that's why I think this multi-billion-dollar enterprise, the Olympics, will figure out a way to do it this year, no matter what hurdles they have to jump through in terms of quarantining and testing and whatnot. I have a feeling in some way, shape, or form, the 2020/21 Olympics will take place this summer in Tokyo.
Oh, man. Look at the time. We lost your brother 11 minutes ago.
Oh, that's right. There's a running theory by my brother that if it's 1 second over 60 minutes, he does not download. So my apologies to my brother, and my apologies to anybody else that we offended by going over 60 minutes. Even though it seems whenever we post that poll, you want longer or shorter, people seem to want the longer.
Well, I mean, our heyday was during your Achilles
4 years ago. 4 years ago now.
4 years ago. That's insane. It was like exactly 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was 4 years ago tomorrow. Well, it's Saturday, April 24. So it
is Saturday, April 24th, 2021, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, as you were saying.
Well, thank you. It will be 4 years ago tomorrow, 25th. That I
4 years post-op.
That puppy rippled up the back of my leg like a curtain, and I hobbled the 3 square miles to the car.
Rusty and I, Town Drunk Rusty, is actually in my house as we speak, doing some painting upstairs in the kitchen. We talked about that last night, how it couldn't have happened in a worse location.
Worst field ever.
Anytime your Achilles tears, bad deal.
Yeah.
But especially when the parking lot is like in deep center field.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Still an unbelievable.
You had to 3 pitches into a season, you had to hop on your foot about 600 feet out to your car.
Still an infinity ERA for that season for me. As that run scored.
The run did score.
Many other runs scored.
So did you pitch 1/3 of an inning?
No, I didn't get an out.
Really?
So it's an infinity.
I thought that was a fly out to
Nope,
to
it was a
It dropped?
It wasn't even dropped. Nobody got to it. They were throwing the ball in from the hit, which is when somebody, on accident, I'm assuming, rolled the bowling ball into the back of my leg and popped my Achilles.
All right, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Steve and Kyle. You can vote in the championship matchup for Poll Badness. You can do that right now.
That's right.
And we'll talk to you next week. See you later.